Hello, my friend, and welcome to Scary Stories in the Dark. Today is going to be a very relaxing video, so get comfortable in bed, grab your snacks, and get ready for this spooky but also kind of strange creature we will be covering today. The folklore of today derives from Latin America, and it is called the Chupacabra. It is classified as a vampire canine, and you will soon see why. First, let's cover the canine part. As for how it looks, the size is that of a small bear, so not too big, not too small. It has very, very scaly skin, but it's not a fish type scaly. It's more so of a extremely dry and extremely cracked type scaly. It doesn't really have hair on its body, despite what's on its head a little bit, and in some depictions it also has some hair running down its spine, but other than that, it's pretty much bare. Speaking of its spine and other depictions, it's not really this mangled, tangled, unkept hair. It can be these really pokey spikes all throughout the spine of its back. And as for its teeth, well, of course, it's going to be very messed up, very unkept teeth. It's not going to look nice and in rows like you would see with a shark, but very much all over the place and extremely, extremely sharp. The first time this creature was sighted was in the 1990s in Puerto Rico. And this is where you will find out why it is classified as a vampire canine. And that was because a farmer came out one day, checked on his land, checked on his animals, and he found his goat lifeless. But it wasn't a normal kind of lifeless. It wasn't like a natural death had occurred or there was like some type of typical animal attack or a disease. Like, it wasn't anything like that. Instead, it was completely lifeless and completely bloodless. And many reports say that the only sign of attack that you really see on these animals are two sharp points or a couple of sharp points on the animal. And this is where the blood has been sucked out. Now, of course, this is a very disturbing situation to come across, because what else would just leave an animal without literally any blood in it? And this is actually where it gets its name as well. The translation of a chupacabra is a goat sucker, and that's because that was the first animal that it attacked. Of course, puzzled, this situation ended up getting out. It ended up being reported on, and afterwards people from other Latin countries, again, this originally was in Puerto Rico, but people from Mexico, Chile, and like all these other places in Latin America, and even some places within the United States, especially Texas, started reporting that they were seeing the same things too. A lot of these farmers had experienced the same thing too. And in my opinion, I feel like a reason why they didn't say anything before was because of the fact that they didn't think that they were going to be believed. You know, like if you see something extremely strange and abnormal and there's really no explanation, it's really hard to have people believe you. And it's like when you see somebody have that experience as well, then you're like, oh, okay, I'm not the only one. So I believe that a lot of these farmers kept their mouth shut about it because they didn't think that they would be believed in the first place. And as these stories continue to come out, we do start to see that this chupacabra is taking out more than just simply goats. It's taking out goats, it's taking out chickens, lambs, rabbits, cats, dogs, and on occasion cows. Now, this is something that is just, I'm trying to think of the best word to describe it, devastating for farmers, because this is their livestock. Like, this is what they live upon, how they make their money, this is what feeds their family, and to come out and see such a horrendous thing, like, it's disturbing. And with cattle like that, like, you don't even want to really touch it because you don't know what happened to it. You don't know if what attacked it had some type of disease. In fact, you can start to doubt yourself and question everything and be like, was there a disease that ended up leaving these marks on these animals? Is this safe to eat? I don't know. So absolutely everything that happens with that produce is that it ends up getting chucked away because no one wants to touch that. So it's a lose-lose-lose situation. The only thing that's winning is the creature, and obviously that's not who we want to win here. And along with the fact that it's difficult to wrap your head around this situation with these animals, with what's happening, it's also very easy to not fully understand what it is that's attacking these animals, because it can very easily be mistaken for something else. All the ways that I have described it, all the images that I have depicted of this creature, the thing is, it can very easily look like a mutilated hyena, because it does possess a lot of qualities that honestly look like one. It can also look like a hairless dog that's kind of just gone through a lot of stuff, and when it's dark, it can have the shadow of a fox. So trying to figure out what it is, trying to hunt it down, trying to keep an eye out for it is a little difficult, because it resembles so many other animals that we know for a fact exist, that we know are out there, and we also know tend to go after livestock. And the thing is, though the appearance can be explained away, the devastation and the destruction that it caused cannot be. There are a whole lot of theories about where this creature derived from, how it came about, how it got around. Like, there are just a lot of theories in regards to this creature. So if you have any theories, or if you have any personal stories, please leave them down in the comments below. Now, I will be reading a story about this creature from this book called Freaky Folklore by Carman Carrion. Let's begin. Strange and elusive cryptids have appeared all around the globe, but none as strange as a blood-sucking Chupacabra. The stories of this creature are sure to be passed down for many generations to come, just in this next story. Miguel's grandfather had told him the story so many times that he could retell it as if he had been there himself. Out of all of his grandpa's stories, this was the one that scared him the most. Since the 1970s, Miguel's grandfather and his family had lived in the Mazunte, Oaxaca. I hope I'm saying that right. It was a small village in Mexico, nestled between a wide beach that was thought to be one of Mexico's most beautiful, and the Sierra Madre del Sur mountain range. It was in that small village where he was raised on a little farm, and it was on that farmland that he saw it. He claimed that he had gotten up early in the morning to do his chores so that he could rush into town to meet a girl who had recently moved there. He fed the cows and the chickens first, then the 4 goats last, because they were always so noisy. His grandfather said he expected them to greet him with their usual loud bleats, but instead he was met with silence. As he reached for the gate, he noticed that it was only supported by one hinge, and had claw marks running from the top to the bottom. He stepped over the gate and into the pens, immediately concerned. The goats weren't in their usual spots, so he looked around with his lantern. He noticed the first one in an unusual position, lying on his back with his feet up. He took a closer look, thinking it was sleeping, only to discover that its throat had been ripped open. He searched the rest of the pen and discovered the second goat huddled in the corner, shaking and terrified. The third he found dangling from the top of the enclosure, as if it had attempted to escape, but its neck had been ripped open. Miguel's grandfather said he knew he'd have to wake up the others if he wanted to find the 4th goat before it was killed like the other 2. He, his father, and his 2 younger brothers searched the entire area well after sunrise, but found no trace of the missing goat. They buried the other 2 goats and locked the remaining one in the barn. His grandfather was tasked with repairing the broken gate while his father finished the chores. He could hear his younger brother Gabriel playing in the yard. He was about to nail a piece of wood to the bottom of the broken gate when he heard Gabriel scream. He jumped up and ran the direction of the house, where Gabriel's screams could be heard. He froze for a split second at the sight before him. Gabriel was laying on the ground near the yard's edge, with an animal twice the size of a goat on his back. This creature resembled a hairless, leathery-skinned dog. It had Gabriel by the neck, viciously shaking his head as Gabriel tried to escape. The sound of gunfire jolted him, and he saw the creature drop his brother and flee. He might have lost his brother to that mysterious creature if it hadn't been for his father's quick actions. Miguel's grandfather would never forget seeing what he believed was a Chupacabra. In this story, this creature was doing a whole lot more than just attacking livestock. It was definitely going after people as well, which is so sad, honestly. Like, I don't know exactly who the person is whose story this is, but just from the perspective of this actually happening to someone, that is extremely terrifying and life altering, in my opinion, to see something like that. But that is the story of the Chupacabra, and I hope that you enjoyed today's video. If you did, please consider subscribing and sticking around for the next video. Make sure to take care of yourself. If you're sleeping already, I hope you have an amazing night's sleep. And take care of your life, because your life, your individual life, is extremely important. Stay well, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.